22-1, Thomas and I were back after a one-day hiatus, as yours truly was up to all hours of the morning putting together the Preakness wagering guide over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There you see the cover for Friday and Saturday, all the major stakes races, every single thing, every angle you can think of covered in there. Thomas, have you had a chance to look at either the Friday or Saturday card at Pimlico?
A little bit on the Saturday, not the Fridays, because I was working on Newberry for the Friday.
All right. I thought you were going to tell me you're working on making reservations for Argentina.
Well, you can bet those races after the Pimlico cards run.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you do better there than here.
Maybe. I don't know. A lot of scratches today in Baltimore, so really impacting the way the card played out, taking out probably half the horses that were scheduled to run today on this terrific Thursday. And going through the races, Tom, I don't know how to do this. How I'm frightened because one of two things. Sometimes some of the races, the track or the race setup was so obvious to benefit like a particular horse that you're just wondering, and that either works out absolutely perfectly and that horse stomps the rest of the field and does so at like 2 to 5, or you're just so wrong that the one that you think is going to come in last. You ever get that feeling like it just looks too like obvious?
Well, I just assume they're going to come in last and then go from there.
Yes. All right. Well,
and
hopefully
then try to make the unobvious, or as an angle that a friend of mine used to call it, who doesn't fit?
Yeah, the Sesame Street angle, right? One of these is not like the others.
Yep. There's a reason why that horse is in that field. Why doesn't it fit with the rest of them? Mm-hmm. Well, you get Mr. Hart, who paid $128 one time at Arlington Park.
That'll work.
Did not figure it all.
Whatever it takes to get there. And then maybe we have some $128 winners today at Guaranteed Tip Sheet at Horseshoe Indianapolis. It is the free track of the day. Some ice hockey plays and basketball plays there too. So you can take a look at that. But if you're interested in Horseshoe Indianapolis, kindly use the link in the description down below. The track is fast and it is free. Nothing
you
is
should
wrong.
Fix their logo on there. So says Indiana Grand.
Yeah.
Little,
we're traditionalists.
A little confusing.
Yeah, traditionalist, Tom. All right, race 1 at
details.
Pimlico. Yes, tell us about the details for race number 1 at Pimlico.
Yes, this is a starter optional claimer. 12-5 down to 10. It's restricted to fillies and mares only. And you've not to start for a $8,000 claimer in your last 3 starts, or you can be put in for a tag.
And it was supposed to be on the turf. It's not on the turf.
Scheduled for the turf. Back now, we're going to 5 furlongs, and I don't think the track record is going to be broken in this race.
Well, they might have a strong tailwind coming down the stretch. Wind aided, Tom. Wind aided record.
Yeah, well, that's more quarter horse racing than it is this.
We don't have any details in terms of what the bias of a winner is at 5 furlongs on the dirt track, but I would imagine speed in these short races will do pretty well. 10,000 simulations on the few horses that remain. We want to see who has the best chance to get to the lead. Speak your mind, probably with the 11 horse out of the race. So want to see which horses, based upon our projected pace, have a great shot of mirroring their best performances. It looks like the 5 and the 10. Really strong chances. We want to score over 50%. And then looking for a little bit of simulation odds too. Bandits Warrior looks like fair odds. That's prior to all the scratches, so really likely to be a heavy favorite in that respect. And then we also want to see which horses have the best chance to run a speed figure at or above par for this level. And this level, that is a 78. It may or may not hold true on the dirt, but the conditions would be pretty similar. You see here that 3 of the 4 remaining horses qualify there with the 10 horse, the highest of them all. Pace set up. Everybody wants to be on the lead, Thomas. They're all E-types. So, I mean, they'll all get to the front in a short race. That's not to be unexpected. Speed of the speed is the 2. Speak Your Mind, which we kind of saw on the simulations. Though Bandits Warrior right behind. All of them with really some opportunity to get to the front if they burn Does look like Golden can run better than everybody at the end, about a length quicker than the rest in this short field. Your top total pace horses, 3 of them, a little bit better than the bottom 2. So the 10, the 7, and the 2, perhaps from a total pace perspective, have the best chances of winning. Tom, who do you believe has the best chance of winning?
I agree with you. I went with 7. Bandits Warrior. The move off the turf may or may not be the favorite. We'll see. Certainly has plenty of speed. It's been improving in its last 3 starts on the numbers. Got caught late last on the dirt. This is a turf race. Going to a dirt race, that means she's more of a dirt horse anyways, and it has been in the past. So keep going. 2, Speak Your Mind. MTO entry. Always has to pay attention to those. Got loads of speed. You can toss the last race because it broke inward. It got bumped, and that was the end of the race for it. It's done better. The dirt makes more sense for this horse, and that's why they entered it as an MTO, because they were crossing their fingers, and they want that those few dollars that this track that they're giving away in this. And finally, 10, Golden Can. Yep, you said late run. Yeah, I think that late run is right. I think switching back to 1 turn may also help the horse. She hasn't won in a long time, but that's why I'm putting her in the money.
And then you got the 5 on the back end. Hypnotizada. Hypnotizada. Yeah, whatever.
But we know that's 5 because you make me do it. I actually, in that 4-horse field, I took them all. I just took 1 horse.
Yes, we'll get to that later. I'm going to go with Bandits Warrior 2. It is 1-1 right now, Tom. It has the best dirt record of the horses that are left after all the scratches. Maybe a little bit of a price in Olive Cat. Good chance to be better in the 3rd start after a layoff. I do like the fact that the horse did spark to life at the end of its last race. I see a lot of times with that improved late speed show up in continued momentum in the next race. Golden Cat, the 10 horse, should sit right off the pace right here, Thomas, and then does have a 1 length late speed advantage over the rest of the field. So if it's on the hip of the front runners, they might not be able to stop that one from getting to the winner's circle. And Speak Your Mind does have a really good chance to be the pace setter. It is the speed of the speed in a short field, although when we had on Stephen Fielder, who wins tons and tons of these races, contests, big money, he says you take the longest shot in a 5-horse field, that would be the Hypnotizida. That one is 16-1. Everybody else well under 10-1 odds. Let's see where they look like they're lining up. Well, they still got a little bit of a walk to get to the starter's gate for the opener. Looks like it's sunny there, so we should get a good day of racing. Kind of surprised they took it off that. While you're waiting, a couple things you can do to help us out. We want to, first of all, say thank you to Beverly Taylor and Joey Thibault for giving us a thumbs up on Facebook. If you agree and you like what you see here, thumbs up. Follow us on all of our social sites below. You can find me at HRT Rich on Twitter. And then, of course, while you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. While you're on Twitter or X, kindly follow us. Facebook, follow us, like us. You know the routine for all of the different ways to participate. All interaction, be it comments in the comment section. If you got some picks at other tracks today, thoughts about the Black-Eyed Susan, thoughts about the Preakness, or any of the big races on the weekend, kindly share them with us in the description. All right, looks like they're about set and ready to start this terrific Tom Thursday at Pimlico. The 7 is your 4 to 5 favorite. The 10 horse is your second choice. The 2 horse is your third choice. Then the 1, and then again that lowly 5. And looks like maybe the 1 horse was a little unsettled there, and they're off and running. I don't know. That 5 horse was trying to eat some air on the way out. Did you see that, Tom?
Yeah, it jumped up a little bit.
Yeah, like if it was chasing bugs or something. So they make it into the start here. The 2 horse is indeed the one that's going to lead him through the turn, Thomas. And he's running pretty aggressively as they're running pretty fast, it looks like to me. 7 horse right to its outside with a comfortable trip. Again, to look at the fractions, it looked like it was 22 and 2/3 of a second. Really not all that fast. I think the 2-horse thinks he has a lot of horse left, Tom. I think he's going to go potentially wire to wire here because the jockey keeps looking over his shoulder to see who is coming, if anybody. The 7-horse is trying to rally. He's going to rally. He's got his way past the 2-horse. So the 7-horse, the big favorite, it's going to live up to those big favorite odds. And then behind that, it's going to go 7, 2, 10, and then the 1. 7, 2, 10, 1, and then the 5-horse. The Stephen Fielder angle did not work.
Is still running.
Well, it was he gave up 4th at the very last minute there, Tom.
Yeah.
So I think the track record might be at stake in that race right there.
Well, it's 55.
Number 2, win in place in race number 1. All right. So now we're going to go off to race number 2. Tom, speaking of 2s, I thought the 2-horse had it with the jockey.
1, right?
What's that?
2 horses in 1, right?
2-horse didn't win?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
No. 2 horses in 1.
Yeah.
What's going on in race 2? We're going to get 2 horses.
Just trying to confuse you. Is it working?
No, you don't need to do that, Thomas. I'm all prepared to do it on my own.
Oh, well, we're not punch drunk yet, but maybe later.
Just drunk.
Starter optional claimer 20,000 down to 16. This is one of those ones where it's 12.5 or less in the last 3 starts, or you can put it in for a claim. 6 furlongs, and those are always Confifi set the track record, and I don't think that's at all worried about that one.
I don't know. They were running pretty quick there. You could see which
I think 107 would be a real challenge for this bunch.
Yeah, maybe they could do that in 4 furlongs, and or 5. $20,000. You can buy icing if you want, right? That's Terry's lunch money. You can walk around, you can buy the whole field, Mr. Terry, and then still have plenty of left money over for the prime rib. Well done. Well, not well done. Probably medium rare. At 6 furlongs, Tom, on the dirt, we do have a little bit of profile of a winner data. Early speed, 35% of the time. They do get to the front. They stay to the front. And then, they may not challenge for the track record, but they will get the big check. There's a small rail penalty for icing, so maybe Terry don't want to buy that one. 2 and 3 also get discounted. 4 and out, they get a bonus, and the farther you are from the rail, the better off you are. So a little bit of outside speed in race number 2, Tom, and that's where it is. Kadri is the quickest of them all, although icing on the rail should give that one a little bit of run for its money. Looking at the comfort zone, it does look like Cardi should enjoy being on the front as the most likely to find the pace to its liking, although the 3 and the 4 are not too far behind. As far as our simulated odds are concerned, Jester's Song, a little bit of an overlay there, maybe 8-5 versus the morning line of 8-1. Small overlay, and Stuttgart, probably not an overlay when you consider in the scratches. And then you got a quartet of them here with strong opportunity to run a speed figure above par for this level. Our trip handicapping points out that the 1 horse could be a lone E. We did see it has a shot to get to the lead. Does it get to the lead? Maybe. It's to the inside, so it has a good chance. Might have to work a little too hard to get there. 2, 3, and 7, Tom, they have some flexibility in their game. 4 and 5 want to close. Who will be coming at the end? Clem Labine. About a 2-length lead over everybody else, but probably about 2 lengths off the lead, too, out of the picture when the race gets started. And then you have the 3, the 4, the 3, 5, and 7 as the top graders. The 1 and 2 kind of really off the pace there, so maybe you can X those out and make it a 4-horse field, Tom. What did you do? You made it a 3-horse field.
3-horse field. I went with number 7. You can say it's Kadri or Kadi. He's shown speed in most of his races. The last one was a head-and-head battle. He finished 3rd in that one by about 4.5 lengths. That was at the $30,000 level, so we're a slight little drop here. He's won with stalking trips on a sloppy track. He's not been out of the money this year. Definitely has the speed numbers to run away from this bunch if he's got everything going for him. 5, Jester's Song, his next choice. One lasted a 20 level, non-winners of 3. So a little bit of a different race for him, and blew the start. And blew the, and was a third in the race before and blew the start completely. Training is doing very well lately, even with horses going up in class. So I think that's one to consider.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we're going to take that Clem Labin or Clementine that they couldn't use, so they did this instead. And won last time out at Aqueduct by 6 3/4 lengths in a 10 claimer, which is definitely the bottom of the barrel there. And this is an 8-year-old. He's run a whole bunch of times, over 50. He's got 12 wins and 11 places in 5/3, which is pretty good. Works aren't great, but I think it's good enough to pick up a check.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start with the 7-5-4 combination, just like you, Tom. The 7-horse, we're going to go back-to-back 7s to get started, making the classic handicapping angle of the third start after layoff, really likely to set the tone, and did run at this level a couple of races ago and won handily. Number 5, Jester Song, does have that overlay. Strongest par plus horse in here. Yet another in the third up. Small step up in class. Does like the distance. 8 of the 11 races in the money. Number 4, Clem Labine. This one's traveling in or traveling down from I-95 from Aqueduct. Last time out, did run some better fractions. Did run some better pace numbers in the early part of the race. And I think it's taking a small step up in class, though. And then finally, Stugar. I'm going to stick with the third up theme with the third horse from the rail right there. Faster fractions last out too. All right. So I'm going to do a pick 4. So basically, Tom, what I've done on my pick 4, you did 3 horses and then 3, then 1, then 2. I went 3 by 4 by 3 by 1. But anyway, the one horse that between you and I we left off is the 2 horse. So I think you can just throw out all the rest and single the 2 and then work your way across the rest of the pick 4 ticket.
And you're going to get the big bucks.
Yes, indeed. Get paid heftily. You have a lot of money for the weekend races at Pimlico. Christopher D'Souza in race number 2 says, hey, Rich and Tom don't got the 2. So I'm going right there. I'm circling that bad boy. B West and 247 in his exacta box. In the race number 3, we go, Thomas.
We do.
Again, we find a lot of scratches again. Well, not a lot, 4 scratches.
No, still turf. It's the turf race at a mile. Sometimes a little more, especially sometimes the lower levels more stay in for 2 turns.
Mm-hmm. Only 4 scratching out.
Depends on the track. Well, we got a starter optional claimer for 20,000 down to 16. This is restricted to fillies and mares. You cannot start for that 12-5 magic number and last 3 starts. You don't get in, or you have to put it be in for a tag. So if you don't qualify the one way, you can put it in for a tag. Of course, you get weighed off by, of course, is getting down to 16 if you want to do it that way. Again, interesting race, 2 turns. We'll see what happens. I'm always a big more of a fan of the 1-turn races, mile races, but mile sometimes on a lot of these tracks just comes up too quick with that stretch, to get into that first turn.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least they're starting back here. They got a little bit of room on the track to get to the turn, but it does look like it's a little bit of a tight turn right there. But they're not running on the turf, so
Pimlico traditionally is considered to have tight turns.
Mm-hmm. So away they go at a mile on the turf. Don't really have any data on the mile on the off the turf. A mile on the dirt course. I do know that speed does tend to do well at Pimlico on the dirt track, so I wouldn't be shocked to see Speed Horse do well in race number 3 at a mile. If speed does do well, you got a trio here that look like the quickest according to our simulations. Prepare for Takeoff, appropriately named for a fast horse. Esperana, another quick one in there, but the fastest of them all looks like Joya del Sur. About a 43% chance to get the lead. You got a few of them in here that will like the pace. Mo Tough probably liking it the most, along with Peyton Elizabeth, and a bunch of them over a 50% score. That's what we're looking for. It means they have a more than 50% chance that today's pace will mirror their best performances. A whole host of them show that they can run a speed figure above par for this level, which according to Brisnet is 79. So a lot of them are good choices there to perhaps get their way to the winner's circle. Some overlays with Isabel's Glory. Morning line 20-1. Looks like 12-1 could be some fairer odds. And then that's it. So that's the only overlay, Tom.
Well,
our race shape.
You're looking for an overlay, but sometimes it's hard to find them.
Yeah, value is not always available. Most of these horses want to be middle back, although this quartet does have a little bit of versatility. The PC types can be really anywhere on the track. These two want a pilot or co-pilot. These folks here are just co-pilots. So you get to the front here again in a middle back type slanted race. Get to the front could be useful. A lot of them with a good shot to be forward in here. Really half the field within one length of each other. Misstep or anything could be the difference really between being the leader of the pack and then following the pack. At the end of the race, the leader of the pack does look like Isabel's Glory, a little bit more late speed than Joya del, or is that Hoya del Sur? Probably Hoya. I'm going to go with that, the Spanish pronunciation. Yeah, and then finally, Hoya del Sur is the 8-point total pace horse in this field, Tom. So maybe that's the one to run down and beat. Should be close to the lead, does have some late legs, and it makes it to the back of your picks. Why is the 8 in the front of your picks?
Oh, because her last race on the dirt was pretty good. She showed some speed and backed out. She's had 2 previous turf that were decent runs. Now back to the dirt. I think the speed is going to really take her to that winner's circle. Number 4, the Haunted Room, is my next choice. She's bounced around at all kinds of different levels of racing, at least running 7 furlongs, usually longer. Allowance, claiming. I mean, I don't think they know what to do with this horse. She's had some, last race, she's had better efforts, though, in some races, ran second. I think she looks like she's more of a 2-turn horse. And I think she's been running against better company that's in this field. And I think there may be some hidden form in there with that. I'm going to take her to run in the money, but I wouldn't be surprised if she wins. And finally, I'm going to take number 10, Bound by Destiny. She's had issues in her last 2 races. She ran 6th and last in both those races. They claimed her for $20K, and she's done absolutely nothing yet. But maybe the move off the turf will make the difference. And the only thing I'm worried about is with the 12, the reason why the 12 is back there is you got to get to that first turn in a hurry at Pimlico, or you're going to get in trouble real quick. And the 10 and the 12 will have some of those issues.
Well, unfortunately, the 12 has a little bit of late speed. Instead of picking, you just want all here, Thomas, on your.
Yep.
Oh, you got to do rainbow pick 6. So that's interesting. So I played along too with me as well in race number 3 for the pick 6. You can see Tom's pick right there. You can timestamp it at 23:30. You got all. Then he's going to single to 3. A little foreshadowing. 4, 6, 8, 2, 6. Singling is 7. So 2 singles with the 1, 5, 6, 7. Putting $43.20 to work. Hopefully there's a big pool there. Is there an overlay? I mean, is there like a carryover or anything like that today?
I didn't look. I know it's early in the season, so there probably is a little bit.
Yeah, probably not a whole lot. I'm going to start with the 12 horse. I think it has a shot to clear. Is your top total pace horse by 8. I don't think it needs to clear, though, Tom. I think it could sit in a nice stalking position and then pounce at the end of the race. Isabel's Glory, the 1 horse. I'm going to take that bomb of a shot right there. Thomas, coming off of the grass, just needs to run 2 races back on the dirt and could steal this one. Number 8, Esperana, off since December. So a little bit of time to get fresh, get ready to go. Some decent workouts getting ready for today, and does have a win at Pimlico in a route race. So it knows you can make those 2 turns, Tom. And then Mo Tough, the 2 horse, another long shot in here for me. You're influencing me, Tom. Taking the 30-1. But this is a really consistent performer that performs at a level that most of these horses, they do get to, but a lot of them have a lot of volatility in this game. This one has the high floor, low ceiling type. So if it runs its best race, And after being a little bit quicker last time out, who knows? Maybe it comes home at a big price. If it does, we'll screw up my $28.80 pick six. I think the 12 horse is the most logical one to win. And then I go 3 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 3 at the end right there. Race Masters, I agree with Tom. Haunted Room. Number 4, Christopher D'Souza says the 6 horse is the play at $120 to win on True Blue Pearl. I can see number 6 run last time. Can see eyes. Number 6 run last time. Can you explain that a little bit for me, Christopher D'Souza? I mean, you watched the race and you feel like the last race passes the eye test. Is that what we're referring to? All right, Tom. Race number 4, 8 race card. What are the conditions here?
We have an optional claimer at 62.5 down to 50. It's a big range. This is restricted to fillies who are 3 years old. And the conditions are number 1 a race other than maiden claiming, waiver claimer, blah, 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 blah. And then I also love the Maryland sired or the Maryland bred races. Okay. And or you can go, you'd be a non-winner of 2 races. It means allowance winner or a stakes winner. Or you can be put in for a tag. And you only get 4 pounds off to go to 50, which some horses makes a difference, some no.
All right. Well, at 6 furlongs, we are going to look for horses that have a lot of early speed. In fact, 35% of the time they go wire to a wire. You do have a little bit of a penalty on the inside 3. So the farther you are from the rail, the better off you are. Let's look for some speed in this race, Thomas, in number 4. And it looks like there is some outside speed with Kilo Road and then Susan's Mule. I guess in some respect they're related. Those two, one of those two is likely to be on the lead. Looks like the 2 and the 4 are the only ones that are going to find the pace well into their comfort zone. You got a trio of them with par plus opportunities. The 3, 4, and 5 very likely to run, or somewhat likely to run, a speed figure of at least 83 today, maybe better. Maybe we have a couple of overlays in here with the 4 horse. 7 to 2 is the morning line. Looks like 5 to 2 would be some fair odds. The 5 horse Kilo Road 2 to 1 are simulated odds versus the morning line of 6 to 1. So maybe you're getting some value with the 4 and the 5. Our race shape, like everybody wants to kind of be spread out a little bit, Thomas. So in all likelihood, everybody will be where they want to be. Although the 1 horse, Susan's Mule, that's a horse that likes to typically close with enough early speed today to be in contention. Those are left arrow horses. They do pretty well. Those 2 should set the tone like we saw in our simulations. At the end of the race, the tone setter will be good night, God bless, along with Buck and Great. Kilo Road. Boy, you got to be careful with Buck and Great, right? Ask a little kid to say that when you might get shocked. And then
you could get yourself in some big trouble.
Yeah, well, you'll know exactly what the kid's going to say, right? He's got liberty to do what he wants to do. And then finally, Kilo Road is a 7-point total pace edge over everybody else. These 3, the top half, more than a length better than the rest of the field. So it looks like the 3, the 4, and the 5 are the place to be. Thomas, you have one of them or 2 of them, starting with the 3.
I did start with the 3. And good night and God bless. She won her maiden special weight at Penn. And she went on to win a non-winners 1 race, but that she had some issues in that race. So she did a nice job of winning that race. Her last race, she really had to do some work to get up for second, which was really interesting. You know, it's interesting. They started this horse out on the all-weather at Woodbine. And the best finish was in a maiden claimer, 15,000. Well, guess what? She's been in the money all her dirt races. I don't think she likes the all-weather. I think she'll win. Number 6, Dwelling Legacy is going to be my next choice. Won a maiden claimer at Laurel a while back, and it was a strong effort. Has a winning effort at Penn in a good allowance race. And I say good because, allowance, sometimes we dismiss the Penn horses. but I think more the claiming level than if you're running for decent numbers in allowance race. That's a little different in my opinion. And then in that race, she was a toss race at Laurel. She didn't get out of the starting gate, and it was bad. I think the distance suits, and I think it's a pretty good horse. Number 4, Buckin, or as the aforementioned, Great. Won a 40K claiming last out. Really good speed numbers. Aggressively placed last year by the trainers, owners. State bred at Colonial race. Managed to pass a few horses. Off the last race, I think she'll continue to improve. And that's why I think you have to think about that horse.
Well, I'm going to think about putting the 5-horse Kilo Road on the top. Real good shot to be on the lead in a race where speed does do pretty well. I also feel like the last time she won, last time out, was the second race in its career. Huge improvement. Another step forward today would be, I think, more than enough to vanquish these. If not, good night. God bless. Really is not all that far away from winning 5 races in a row. Getting extra distance today from 5.5 furlongs, I feel like actually helps her cause. Number 2, Overly Dramatic. Won a huge race at Laurel after coming up from Gulfstream Park. Does take a short rest and then has 4 workouts in between. So Overly Dramatic might be more fit today than in that dominant win. And then Buckin' Great. That's Buckin' Great. Popped coming off the bench after more than 8 months, sidelined. There's a big regression opportunity here, Tom, because when horses are off for more than 5 months and then come back to run a peak speed number, that's if the highest number was 90 and it comes back to run a 91, that's not that big of a deal. But if it ran a 90 and now it's all of a sudden 104, so a sizable gap. 90% of the time, according to the research that I've read, those horses regress. If it doesn't regress, it does have a good shot to be your Buckin' winner. How'd you like that play on words, huh?
Perfect.
Yes, well done. I changed my mind on the haunted room. Scratch that. All right, so he's going to go away from that one. We're going to go to race number 5, which is the beginning of the late pick 4 in the, there you go. Perfect timing, Tom. What's going on in race 5?
I thought so.
Yes, works out well sometimes.
You never know, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, there's another starter optional claimer. We are for 20 down to 16. This is, of course, that infamous claim number you can't go below in our last 3 races, 12.5. Or you can be put in for a price of either between 20 and 16, depending on whether you want the weight on or the weight off. Mm-hmm. That's up to you. Of course, this has been moved to 5 furlongs on the dirt, and that makes it interesting by itself because all the turf horses got out of here.
Yes, adios. And then we don't have any data or profile of the winner on 5 furlongs on the grass to dirt switch. A lot of scratches in here, Tom. So we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses. Of those 5 horses, Valiant Vinny is the one that's most likely to set the tone. Also has the strongest C zone. Also by far the biggest par plus. And it is a potential overlay. It's going to be really low. I mean, right now we think it should be about 4 to 5. I'm going to guess that it probably goes off at about 2 to 5. Tom, would you say?
I would be surprised if you get 2 to 1. I would be amazed if you got 2 to 1.
Yeah, I don't think.
It was a beaten favorite last time out. So
money burner. Got to avoid those at all costs. Our race shape here does favor maybe horses that want to come from off the pace, as you have 4 of the 6 that prefer to be forward, although the 8-horse Valiant Vinny does have a little bit of a versatility in his game. Early on, the early speed does belong to Valiant Vinny. He could take the lead if he wants. Otherwise, Dunphy, that one would be your pace setter. Our late speed candidates include everybody but the 8, the 9, and the 6. So the 1 and the 4, the 2 in the back will be coming at the end. Maybe the 1 horse here, Tom, is the play because it's just a couple of points behind Valiant Vinny. Those 2 are well above the rest of the field. So if Charging Arrow can sit right off the lead and use its late speed, maybe it can come in at a little bit of a price. Tom, you don't have the one. You went star shopping.
I went star shopping at number 4. Won the last race, a mile 16th race. It was on the all-weather, but it ran a big speed number. Now he's going to drop back to 5 furlongs, and that has suited him in the past. So a little bit of versatility in this horse. The other thing is he's got a bit of an advantage on. He's a late runner. And if the speed decides to burn itself out or collapses, you could see this one flying at the end. 8 Valiant Vinny, the Illinois bred I took next, ran a 12-5 race, as we said at Laurel on the turf, was the big favorite and got beat. Has shown decent pace and speed on the dirt in the past, so that's probably the reason it got left in. The distance is perfect for it, and yeah, I'd give it another try. And finally, 6 Dumpy is my final one. He's won 3 times on the dirt and on the all-weather. I think what they're going to do with this horse is going to put it on the lead and say, come and get me. And I think if he outbreaks the outside Valiant Vinny, then I definitely think he'll be on the lead.
If you can outbreak him, he's on the lead. All right. I am going to go with the 8-horse Valiant Vinny, the 2-5. Big handicapping. A lot of thought behind that, but does have the early speed horse. Also can co-pilot or pilot. A lot of versatility. Has enough early speed, enough late speed. Could be very difficult to pass. He's a big overlay, a gringo horse, big par plus. I think this is the horse Tom talked about Monday and Tuesday. Low odds, second place. Big candidate for that. Charging Arrow, the 1 horse, is my second selection in here. Is the right distance, Tom. 5 times out. A win, a couple of seconds, and a third. Does come up I-95 from Tampa. Tampa to Pimlico, Tom. Is that a track upgrade, track downgrade? Is that just par? How do you view that?
I think we're on the same level. Certainly money-wise, actually Tampa a little better.
So maybe a little bit of a track drop. Star shopping, Tom's top pick, making into the 3rd slot for me. This guy's been off since Christmas, does have some solid works, and those workouts are at Pimlico, so maybe he takes to the track today after some time in the barn. And then finally, number 9, Cash Now. That's everybody's favorite way to get the money. It is the 3rd start after a layoff.
Charge it.
Yeah, well, I took a part-time job because I work so remote, and I got tired of being in the house. And the one thing people don't pay with anymore is cash. Apple Pay is probably becoming, on your phone, the most common thing, I think. And then, debit, credit cards, that sort of stuff. But certainly Cash Now is not in favor anymore. Race 2 pick for Pimlico, Carter Jefferson. We'll get there in just 1 second. They're about to go there. Race 5, the 1, win place, exact the box. Felix says, hello. Hello, Felix. Gulfstream. Race 2, take the 4. Thank you for giving us some insights to other tracks. If, like Felix, you have some thoughts elsewhere, kindly let us know. Tom's pick 4, you can see here, he did $14, including an all in there. I went 3x3. I'm hoping to get a long shot in that group. I don't know what all the scratches, if that's possible, but I stayed under the $50 budget nonetheless. Race number 2, Tom, per the request. Let's rewind to that. Here we go. We are going to start at pick 4. Race 2, the 7-horse right now, Tom, is only 2-1. I'm kind of surprised by that, considering. The next up on the list is the 4-horse, Clem Labine. That one is 5-2. Then Strugar, the 3-horse. That one's 3-1. And then the 2-horse, B West. The only one Tom and I don't have between the two of us, as I mentioned at that time, that point in the show, just take out your Sharpie, circle that one right there, because that is going to be the solo winner. Pimlico picks race 1, Broads Warrior race 2, Cardi race 3. Good night. God bless. All right. Are they getting anywhere near the gates there, Thomas? Yes, indeed they are. So it looks like they're going to load them up.
Direction.
So while we wait for them to load them up at Pimlico, kindly head over to horseracingtoday.net. We got some great stories over there. And while you're there, hit the HRT gear. Get yourself dressed up in this fine designer apparel, drip as they call it from the kids nowadays. Get yourself a Horse Racing Today shirt, hat, sweatshirt. Hell, you can even get a apron if you're a Kansas City Chiefs kicker's wife. Just kidding, of course, since that's all the hubbub on the internet these days. All right, let's go off to race number 2 and see what they're about to do, Thomas.
Well, first we got to load them up.
Yeah, I think there's the 4 horses left to go. Yeah, 2 more to go or 1 more to go, somewhere along those lines. All right, let's tell you the folks what's going on. They got the wide view now of the starter's gate. I think the last one just loaded. Really not a whole lot of problems. They're prepped and ready to go in the second race on this beautiful sunny day. Pretty clean start for everybody, although the 4 and the 5 kind of trailing the field a little bit. The 1 horse, Icing. Yeah, we thought that one would challenge for the lead early on, and indeed, it has done so. The 2 horse, B West, the one that I said you can just circle, has the outside stalking trip about where you want to be. That favorite, the 7 horse at 8-5, is in 3rd place as they come down around the bend into the turn. The 1 horse continues to set the tone. The 2 horse going to go 2 wide all the way around the track. The 5 horse, Tom, looks like it's moving pretty well, saving some ground on the rail. It's waiting patiently for some lane to open up. 7 horse going to try to make a back-to-back 7s in the winner's circle, is trying to get up involved, although the 1 and the 2 continue to set the tone. They're all hustling down the stretch here, Thomas. The 1 horse is continuing to be the leader, although 7 has pulled up alongside of those. And much like the 7 in the first race, has taken the lead in the stretch. And jockey's just kind of getting that horse to straighten out a little bit. The 2 horses trying to fight back, Thomas. I think he did fight back. I told you, didn't I tell you what you can do in that race, Tom?
Yep. Ignore all our picks.
And just circle the 2 as a single. And, of course, that's the way it played out. 5 horses in the field. I got 4 of them. You got 3 of them, and neither one of them starts with the number 2. That's always beautiful. I love when that happens, Tom. It's like it's like written in the stars.
Right. Exactly. A little kismet.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. All right. Race number 6, Tom, after that discouraging affair. What are we going to do in this one?
Number 6. We are going to move on to a optional claimer, optional claimer, 40,000 down to 32. This is restricted to fillies and mares, non-winners of 2, other than all those various things that they put in there. A non-winners of 3 are eligible, or you can put it in for a tag.
Christopher with the boom kaboom. Yes, indeed, my man. That 2 horse. But Tom and I, we did everything we could to assist you in that by making it the only horse we did not talk about. 6 furlongs, early speed, 35% of the time, wire to wire. We just saw the 2 kind of go wire to wire, though he gave up the lead and then brought it back. That's a pretty strong effort out of that 2 horse. The rail has a small penalty. 2 and 3 have a discount, although that didn't show up there. The farther you are from the rail, the better off you are in race number 6. Let's see where the speed is today. Forget about it. That one is the primary beneficiary of Riley G stepping out of the race, although everybody with some opportunity to get to the lead. Does look like the 5 and 7, 8 have the strongest C zones in their top, so they may find the pace to their liking. Looks like Nightcap, the 2 horse, in this case, is a potential overlay. It does have the strongest par plus score, 63% chance, according to our analysis, to run a speed figure of 87 or more. As far as the trip handicapping is concerned, 4 of the 6 want to be forward, although the 2 horse does have some versatility. The only versatile horse in the field, 5, 6, and 8 might be lead dependent. 1 and 7 want to run from the back and try to close it out. Forget about it. There you go. Another left arrow horse, Tom, closer. That should be a part of the early speed. Goodwill, bad habit. Good girl, bad habits. Yeah, that can happen sometime. But again, everybody pretty tightly in here. As far as our late speed is concerned, Nightcap is 11 points clear. So about 2 1/4 lengths, 2 and a head, 2 and a neck. Better than everybody else down the stretch. And it is a 10-point or 2 length total pace advantage. So the horse has some in-race tactical edges, does have a pace edge in there, Tom. Is it going to be a winner at a low price?
Probably, in my mind. Number 2, Nightcap is my top choice. Generally, when trainers claim a horse, they have a race in mind. Well, I think this is the race. Moving it up a little bit, but it's been up this level before, so it just keeps winning. Won by 14 lengths in Tampa. I don't care what anybody says. That's a bit. Mm-hmm. And that was not on a sloppy track or anything, any of those kind of things. So good effort. I think it keeps winning. It's won 5 out of 10 of its races at this distance. So it obviously likes to win. Number 6, Good Girl, Bad Habits, be my next choice. She won her first start by 13 lengths. She won her second start by 10 lengths. And then they went a little crazy and put her in the Acorn, grade 1. And she stumbled to the start, and that was the end of the race for her. Comes in a race with some very good race. It works. She'll get Lasix back on because it's not a stakes race, especially a grade 1. Mm-hmm. And she has that potential, like the top one, to run away from the field. We'll see. And that's all I have.
Well, Nightcap, I'm going to put that one in there too. It probably won't be the favorite though, Tom. I feel like the 6 will be the favorite. Trainer Darren Rodriguez, off the claim you mentioned that they usually target a race, Tom. He's usually pretty good at targeting that race too, because 30% of the time that race following the claim is a winning race for Darren Rodriguez. Normally wins at 17%. So taking his win rate from 17 to 30% is big time alpha. Good Girl, Bad Habits. You mentioned, Tom, they got a little crazy jumping up to a G1 there, grade 1. And then the horse got a little crazy at the start, blew its chance to win. But if you look at either of its first 2 races, if it can run back to that, it makes a mockery of this field. Number 8, Royal Whisper, is a horse for this Baltimore course. Been on it 3 times, won 2 of them. They put the horse on a track somewhere else a dozen times and only scored the W once. And then finally, forget about it. The one horse. You got to toss that last race after the horse decided to toss the jockey in that race. This horse should be somewhat close to the pace here and does enjoy some of the most late speed for the one horse. Bless you, Thomas.
Thank you.
2 races to go. That means, well, there's the Preakness wagering guide. So go ahead and head over to Guarantee Tip Sheet for today's free picks. That would be Horseshoe Indianapolis or Indiana Grand, as we have it right there. It is the free track. You can see that. There is a link down in the description below, but we're going to go off to the first leg of the late double. Another one that was supposed to be on the turf that isn't, Tom.
No, I couldn't be further from the turf if it tried, especially with this. And of course, we had a ton of scratches. Mm-hmm. Allowance race for some decent money. Final 16th race. It is a restricted race to fillies and mares. They are non-winners of those usual great things they want them non-winners of, or a non-winners of 2. And they're still going to go that mile and 16th run.
Yeah, actually the last 2 now, because of the surface switch coming off the turf, are both at a mile and a 16. They did 10 races in the previous September meet at the distance. 3 of them were won by horses that win wire to wire. Overall, being forwardly placed is the right place to be. Oddly, it's kind of like a barbell in terms of the post position bias. The rail and 8 and out really do well. 2 and 3 kind of fair. If you're those middle horses, 4, 5, 6, and 7, in those 10 races, man, you really struggled. Only 1 of those horses found the winner's circle. So be on the inside, be on the outside, be fast, Tom, in race number 7 and race number 8. A lot of scratches in here. Golden Heart does look like it is the fastest of the fast, Tom. Also has the top par plus score, although we really don't know what the 7 is going to do. Those are average numbers because that one's coming in from overseas. Golden Heart also has a pretty big par plus score in there as well, Tom, along with the 2-horse Circle Home in this very limited field, Tom. See the 7-horse? You got 5-horse field here, 4-horse field. One of them I have in here that shouldn't be in here, the 5-horse, I think. All right, Thomas, really not much there. It looks like Golden Heart is the one that's going to get to the lead. If the 7 horse can bring its game overseas, maybe that one challenges early on. What do you think? Why do you solo to 7 here?
Why did I take the 7? Well, it is coming in from some okay races in Meydan, though especially the third race, the first race in Meydan, it raced against the Breeders' Cup mile winner. So that's pretty good company. Meydan. It's raced in France too. I of course my question in my head initially was, why does Graham Motion leave her in this race? Well, I think it's because there's really no true front runner in this race.
Well, also going to get paid if it wins, right?
Yeah, and when she did go to the lead, she won, and that was at St. Cloud. And a $25,000 handy, well, 25 euros race in France at St. Cloud. So she has sat on the lead in the past and won. I think he wants to see if he's got maybe a little bit of a dirt horse. And in a small field like this is a really easy one to steal.
Yeah, why not? And looking at the purse money again, it's a purse of $49,000. So 60% of that's roughly 30 grand. That's not a bad day's work against the 3 other horses. Maybe you and I should run, Tom.
We'd
be a good day's work for us too.
If we did it, we'd still be running out there.
Yeah, they'd have to come out with those paddles to get us back to breathing. I'm going to go a little different route, Tom. I'm going to go with the 2-horse Circle Home. Of the horses that did run in the United States, where we have a speed figure of what's left, 5 points clear of everybody else. So I think better than the rest in here. Last time out was the first. Is there going to be the first time off the bench? So I think this horse runs well fresh too. Golden Heart, the 4-horse, does show a lot of early race improvement last time out. Second up should look a lot like the first up. And then there's 7-horse. Pyrinka, been off for more than a year. Catching Lasix for the first time, I think definitely has a plus opportunity to it. As you mentioned, Tom, the horse absolutely has the class. But on the dirt so far, yeah.
We've never had dirt, so we don't know. Well, sort of know.
Yeah.
But there are, we should point out, though, there are speed numbers. They come from time form.
Mm-hmm.
And she went 45 in that first one, 86 in her next race at Meydan, and it has an 82.
Not bad. That would be definitely top notch here. And then Beautiful Gorgeous.
Form numbers, technically, and not speed numbers.
Well, Beautiful Gorgeous. I mean, there's only 4 horses in their field, so someone has to get that role. Beautiful Gorgeous has it. And much like the 2 in race number 2, after bad mouthing the 3, take your Sharpie out, mark that one down in your plays later on in the day, because that could be another solo. All right, last race of today, Tom, before we get to the last race at Pimlico. And before they head off to the Black-Eyed Susan, which I find that field a little bit underwhelming. Tell us a little bit about the fields that we're going to be doing tomorrow for Foreign Friday.
We'll be looking at the races from Newberry, and that'll include the Lockage, and there's another 3-year-old race in there that could point us to a potential starters in the Epsom Derby.
Beautiful. Well, we'll keep you up to speed when we're going to go live on all of our social sites down below. We usually put up all the particulars about 30 minutes before we hit live on YouTube. While you're here, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell so you make sure you don't miss anything. Please share our content with your friends across your social sites. We would greatly appreciate that. And with that, we'll go off to the profile of a winner of race number 8. Again, a mile and a 16th, back-to-back mile and a 16ers on the dirt. 3 out of 10 wire to wire. Inside, outside speed does the best in the 8th race with a scratchless affair. Does look like Super Money and Missy Boss are the 2 most likely to get to the front, although G's Fireball and Filter and Search have some chance to get to the front. Got 4 of them in here, the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 7. Really high probability that quartet will see the pace that really matches their favorite type races. Filter is the only one with some par plus ability, but they're all very low. So in all likelihood, all these horses will probably end up with a speed figure below 73. And then finally, any overlays that we see here, G's Fireball looks like maybe down as low as 1-2 versus that 3-1 morning line. So big potential overlay there. Trip handicapping, Tom, race that's weighted towards the backside. So maybe that early speed could have an edge. If that's the case, Super Money and Miss Bossy, they're considerably faster, about 2 lengths than the rest of the field. So those two should be out on the lead, chugging away against horses that really want to come from off the pace. These two do tend to fade a little bit if they do burn one another out. G's Fireball, Tom, that's more than 2 lengths faster than everybody else down the stretch, making it the top total pace horse by 11 points. So according to this, G's Fireball wins this race going away to close out this terrific Tom Thursday. And neither one of us have him on top. We just flip-flopped ours. Why did you start with Search?
I picked Search because she's still searching for her second win. And with that, she ran second last time out, and she drifted a bit. She was wide. She ran at the fairgrounds a race before and broke her maiden finally after 11 tries. Interesting note on her, if you look, most of her races in the maiden ranks were on the turf. It's only until they moved to the dirt that she started to do a little better. And I think good chance to get a second win here. I'll take 5. Missy Boss is my next choice. Showed speed in the last race and then dropped to 7th, to say the least, by 14 lengths. Won a maiden claimer at Laurel at this distance. Yeah, that was a wire win. Her speed numbers aren't great, but her pace numbers have been pretty hold up. And I think that's good enough for get a placement in this race. And finally, I'll take something silly. Won her maiden claimer last time out by 3/4 of a length. And that was the farthest distance she's ever run. Now they're going to add a little more to her. I think the rail helps her with a good trip. And you got to look at the trainer numbers. And 38 starts. He's winning at 25% clip and 58% in the money.
Pretty good numbers right there.
Those are decent numbers. And we got a good sample with 36 starters.
Yeah, it's just not some random data.
Say, yeah.
Christopher D'Souza going to go with the 2-horse with the 1 in the exacta box. Alexander Salazar, Gulfstream, L7. In I don't know what race he's talking about there, but which race are you referring to, Alexander, for the 7-horse? Let us know. Is it race 1, race 2? Can you kindly let us know? Race 3. And then Race Master's Search is going to be the winner, according to him. And I think the 5-horse, Tom, is going to get Search. Missy Boss. Last time out was the first start after a layoff. Did the speed and fade routine. And then the trainer said, you know what? I want a little more stamina in this guy. So I'm going to give him a 5-furlong workout between races. You're going to see that late speed carry that early speed carry longer today straight to the winner's casa. Search, if not, well, you and Race Masters would probably be right if Missy Boss doesn't get it done. Raced at this level last time out, just missed. Big time race speed number improvement. The last couple of times the horse made a second start after a layoff. G's Fireball is that top total pace horse in here, Tom. 9 points clear of everybody else. Does have that more than 2-length late speed advantage over the rest. And aside from the 2 front runners, could sit in 3rd and track them down. And then finally, like you, Tom, we might as well end on what this show really is, something silly. Rides the hot rail after getting the maiden claiming win in the 3rd try. Maybe has some hidden potential in only the 4th career start, but I'm going to label it as doubtful. Here are all of our picks for today. The 2-horse, the only horse that neither one of us had in a 5-horse field, is the winner in race number 2. In race number 1, the 7-horse did manage to find its way to the winner's circle. Again, if you're going to play the Preakness over the weekend along with the Black Eyed Susan, the wagering guide is available at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description down below. All the picks are up for Friday and Saturday. Make sure you're prepared Never perfect, right? It's hard to be perfect in horse racing, but I can assure you that nobody is more prepared than we are. And then, of course, Indiana Grand, formerly known as Indiana Grand, now known as Horseshoe Indianapolis. Free picks at Guaranteed Tip Sheet down in the link below. Kindly do that. And then while you're on horse racing today, expires today, 15% off to look your best at the track in. See you in the winner's circle gear. Tom, any final thoughts from you before you and I trek out of here to get ready for some racing at Newbury on Foreign Fridays?
We are. I watched the York today, a little bit of the York racing, and the Dante was run, which is also a precursor for the Epsom, and it was wild, kind of a wild affair. So if you want to rewind and watch that, and the predictor, which we lovingly run every Friday if we're on the English tracks, actually did pretty well in that race.
The predictor. So we'll see if we can.
The predictor did.
We'll see if we can out predict the predictor.
And I got the first race and I got the third one, but after that, I was making donations.
Well, you should have relied on the predictor. I mean, that's what it's there for, man. We have to create our own predictor. I'm working on that one, so we'll get that pretty soon right there. Race 3, look out for the 6 at Pimlico, says Christopher, so keep that in mind in race number 6. Again, follow us on all of our social sites, share our content. We greatly appreciate that. Targeting 10,000 users. I mean, the end of this year is probably unrealistic, but by next year's Breeders' Cup is really the goal. So if you can help us get there by sharing our content, we greatly appreciate it. Does help us by putting comments in the comment section. I'll put the timestamps in the description on YouTube so you can come back and watch each race on Pimlico as they are set to take
unfold.
Yes, indeed. So you can kind of keep all of the great wisdom that you found here today.
I know all of you out there are going to follow the Argentine racing right after the Pimlico is done.
Yes, Tom and I are going to actually jet off there on the Concorde and watch them live. All right, folks, no matter what you're doing for the rest of this terrific Tom Thursday, we hope it's filled with God's grace, God's favor. Every single thing you do, we're not in Argentina yet, Tom, so it's still going to end up in.
Oh, you're going to return to the winner's circle.
Indeed. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Make it a great Thursday.